Good morning, everybody. So I will deal today about the aspects linked to employment, social inclusion, and more specifically about active aging. Since 2012 was dedicated to active aging and intergenerational solidarity by the European Commission. And so I'm representing GDF Suez here today. I'm not going to talk a lot about the group. I think it's well known to everybody, but I would like just to highlight the second figure which is mentioned on the slide, which is that there are approximately 220,000 people working for the group worldwide in 70 countries and in a lot of different companies within that group, within that holding, which means that the challenges are worldwide challenges. If we really focus on active aging, not only GDF, but the rest of the big multinationals are confronted to the same kind of problems, which are linked to a population of workers getting older. So it's a problem that concerns everybody. We are all getting old, right? And in order for companies to go on working at the same pace and with the same profitability, we need to transfer knowledge and know-how from the older generation to the younger generation. And this is a major problem, especially in European countries where the age and the demographic standards are what they are today. In order to avoid shortage of talent, we have also to develop a certain number of processes and a certain number of initiatives that make it possible for the younger generation to benefit from the experience and to benefit from the expertise of the older generation that are still active in the different companies. It has been calculated within our company that within the next 5 years, up to 2015, 2017, 100,000 recruitments will have to be made. So it is an enormous future capital. I'm going to give you a few examples of what GDF Suez already did in a certain number of countries concerning active aging and concerning the older workers. In France, for example, in 2010, an agreement was signed, which is called l'accord senior in French, which is an agreement on senior workers. And it's the first time that an agreement like that contained a certain number of KPIs, a certain number of figures, and a certain number of indicators that had to be followed up to 2012, since it is the first time it will be evaluated this year. You see the figures over there. We also introduced a certain number of other initiatives at corporate level. For example, we have mid-term or mid-career interviews for people aged 45 or 50, not as a sort of sanction, but as a sort of possibility to see what kind of second part of their career can be taken into account. Certain other experiments are also, for example, that competence messinet is also being implemented within countries like Belgium and France. This, of course, can only happen if it's a global initiative, so it's not, as one of my previous speakers said, a single program. It's an overall program that has to be developed. And this is included in what we have called the social program of the group, which is in itself included in the strategy of GDF Suez since 2010. And it does not only concern active aging, it concerns all kinds of types of discrimination, concerns all types of possibilities of recruitment in new areas and in new fields. It also concerns diversity or alterity, depending on the word and depending on the continent you are on, and also the link between younger and older workers. We also developed initiatives like tutorship and mentorship, creating a network, at least at corporate level, for helping youngsters and young recruitees to better be accompanied into job creation. And we also developed, for example, in Belgium, the possibility for older or senior workers to be included in what we call vulnerable groups, just like, for example, disabled people are also considered like this, and this happens at Electrabel. So I think that we can immediately skip to the difficulties encountered. You can read them over here, but the most important thing is that we have participated to a collaborative group together with the corporate Social Responsibility Europe, CSR Europe, last year about active aging, together with other companies. And the word collaboration and cooperation is once again very important. And we've tried to look at the problem of active aging through two different focuses, a focus on human resources and a focus on product and services. And there you have the first outcomes of the first aspect, which is linked to human resources, difficulties that companies encounter or will encounter in the future, and also the changes that human resources managers and human resources activities should deal with in order to be much more acceptable for older people as well. And I have to finish, and I will simply say that the context and objectives for product and services are also mentioned there. You will be given the slides afterwards, most probably. And the outlook is very important to me as well, especially the last line, which is innovation. We have heard the word at a certain number of times today. We have to innovate even with senior workers, because they represent perhaps in a certain way the future of our companies, because they are the ones, the depositors of knowledge and know-how. Thank you.